With over 900 episodes of Power Rangers spanning nearly 30 years, there are so many adventures with so many different teams that one can see. However, some of these adventures never see the light of day. Why is that? Let's talk about it. Yo, what's up everybody, it's Este here and welcome back to another video, and today we'll be talking about the unaired episodes of Power Rangers. That's right, Power Ranger episodes that were never produced, so was never aired and seen by you. And you really want to stay till the end of this video because we got one episode here that is really gonna blow your mind. So 1,500 likes and I'll bring you more videos just like this one. I've spent my time reviewing so many different types of Power Ranger episodes. I have a whole playlist about different episode reviews. Go check them out. And if this is your first time watching me, hey, what's up? Subscribe today and join the E Squad so you don't miss out on any single one of my videos. We talk about so many different types of Power Ranger topics and I'm sure you don't want to miss them. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey, I appreciate the love. Let's talk about these unaired episodes. The first episode comes from Power Rangers Turbo, believe it or not, and this episode could actually have produced a bigger domino effect throughout the rest of the series. This episode is called Rangers in Concert, and it's the original mid-season finale of the show. And this episode was focused on Tanya, who is handing out tickets to a concert by The Roaches. The Roaches. Very nice job on the joke, guys. But Divatox has her own plans by buying tickets to the concert. Not to watch The Roaches though, because I assume they're a really good band. Totally not a parody of something else. But to plant another detonator and lure the Rangers in to destroy them once and for all. Again, she's been trying for a fat minute to destroy Turbo Rangers now, but this is it. The plan with the Roaches? This was the plan that was going to destroy the Power Rangers. I can appreciate that. A for effort, Divatox. We actually have both Turbo Ranger teams here in this episode, both the new team and the old team, but some of them have different names. Like TJ was originally called Michael here, as he was an intern at the radio station Tanya was working at. And we also have Ashley, who is called Missy here, but Carlos keeps his name. So it's safe to assume that this is the new team of Power Rangers. But more on that in a second. This would have adapted episode 5 of Car Ranger and used this monster right here, who is known to be the Rockin' Roach of the Roaches, the band that is totally real. And his evil plan is literally to give free tickets to the Roaches concert so that he can eventually destroy the Rangers. Nice, give him free tickets to a concert. What an evil plan. Very mischievous. Bulk and Skull has their own B-plot in this episode. They were monkeys at this point. I know, Bulk and Skull have a weird history. I made a whole video about Bulk and Skull. Go check it out. But they try to win tickets to the Roaches concert by singing a song to prove that they're humans. But they're monkeys, and monkeys can't sing, unless, I think. Can they sing? So yeah, it went horribly because they're monkeys. Very funny plot, guys. As you can tell, this is a pretty weird and obscure episode. I can see why it didn't happen. So after getting a live performance from the Roaches at the juice bar, I know, right? Alpha 6 would finally manage to get Blue Centurion's message to play. This would be the same one seen in the Millennial Message. If you don't know the Millennial Message, it's a message that the Blue Centurion had that showed different villains in Power Rangers, including Divatox, Lord Zed, Rita Repulsa, King Mondo, and Queen Machina, or Machina, as the villains would explode Angel Grove. But we would see the Turbo Rangers come in, and that's when the message originally cut off. But in this episode, we were supposed to see the rest of the vision, which shows the new team of Turbo Rangers. And this new team of Power Rangers would be comprised of teens that we also saw in this episode. That's Missy, Michael, and Carlos. And it was really just supposed to be a big payoff that just flat out never happened. Two main producers, Ann Austin and Douglas Sloan, had left the show due to burnout, so they hired a new producer and team of writers to finish the show. Because, you know, why just continue these old plot lines? Just make new ones for the new team. But this change introduced the likes of a new veteran writer, Chip Lynn, to make new plot lines for the season. So they just said, screw the old stuff, here's some new stuff. Simple as that. In terms of what episode replaced it though in the production order, that episode would go to Honey, I Shrunk the Rangers. A two-parter where the Turbo Rangers shrunk down to size, basically being a huge parody in a way of the 1989 Disney movie Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. It sounds dated for 1997 as it's a movie that came out in the 80s, but that's Power Rangers for you. But what if I told you that episode was supposed to be made many years earlier? Zordon I Shrunk the Rangers was supposed to be a 3-parter episode originally written for season 2 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that was ultimately never made. And throughout the whole fan community, it's one of the biggest unaired and unproduced episodes ever. The concept, of course, would later be used into the Power Rangers Turbo episode Honey, I Shrunk the Rangers, changing the name from Zordon to Honey because Zordon just wasn't in Turbo at the time. Originality. In part 1, we would find out that it's Feed the Hungry Week in Angel Grove, and our Mighty Morphin team is planning a dinner at Ernie's for the cause. While our Genius Rangers Billy and Aisha work on a ray gun to make food larger, because larger portions are good for you. I don't know, they're smart. They're geniuses. Zed and Rita of course see this and will want to steal the device and reverse it so that they can shrink the Power Rangers and destroy them once and for all. Goldar and Scorpina are also in this episode, and this would have actually been the second original appearance of Scorpina in Mighty Morphin Season 2. As you know, she was in Zoo Ranger, they released all that footage, and they were in Season 2 already using Die Ranger footage, so they had one original appearance of Scorpina. This would have been the second. Sad she isn't there though. Goldar and Scorpina are sent down to steal the device, but end up growing huge. As you know, regular old Megazord size huge. The Rangers would take care of these monsters, but after the fight, Billy would realize the device is still in the park, so he would go down with Rocky and Aisha to retrieve it. But it's too late, as Finster has gotten the new device and turns the Rangers down to ant size. And in part 2 of this episode, things would have started picking up, as Goldar and Finster would search for the tiny Rangers in part 2. As I would imagine, it's hard to see them because, you know, they're ant size, you in a park, they're probably camouflaging with other ants. All while Alpha was working on a way to protect the other Rangers of the team from being shrunk down as well. And they try to fight Goldar this episode, but Goldar would just threaten the Rangers like,
I'm literally going to stomp everywhere
and hurt your friends. Don't mess with me. I bet Goldar has ugly feet too. The tiny Rangers would manage to escape on a skateboard. A skateboard, that's very 90s of you, Power Rangers. Even for Power Rangers, actually. And while they do that, Tommy would also go ahead and use a skateboard in a battle with the revived Nimrod, AC, and DC. You may know them as the villains from White Light, actually, the episode where Tommy was introduced as the White Ranger. Back to that in a second. The tiny Rangers are of course saved and grown back to normal size, but guess what? Bulk and Skull got the ray gun now. So I guess you know what happens next. They shrunk themselves into tiny size. And now the Rangers have to save them and fight Nimrod and her clones once again. And that's basically all we know. There's a third part to this episode, but the script is nowhere to be found. Mysteriously gone. We'll never know. Lost script video? Let me know in the comments if you want it. But yo, Tommy on a skateboard, that's crazy. I know it's just a way to use the Die Ranger footage, as you know, there was the kid in the show who's using the skateboard, but still, come on. Also in this episode, it is revealed that Scorpina and Goldar are dating. What?
What the hell?
Can monsters date like that? Where would they go? To Earth? To a restaurant? In general, this episode would have been amazing for a couple of villains. You know, we got Spotlight on Scorpina and Goldar, but this episode would have done good for dialogue for Lord Zed and Rita too. We even know what episodes of Die Rangers they were going to adapt to. They were going to adapt both episodes 18 and 20 of the show. Because, you know, we had Nimrod, AC, and DC there. They were going to fight them, but believe it or not, the footage that they would use of these monsters in White Light was actually from their second appearance when they got revived. So they never used the first footage of these monsters. It was supposed to go here. So why didn't this happen? Well, at the time, they were filming the MMPR movie in Australia, while at the same time filming the TV show. So because of the movie and the show being in so complex and intricate shoot times, they just flat out deleted this episode. It was too hard to use. They had to use green screen special effects. They're in Australia making a movie. Let's just do some simple stuff. So that episode just never came and never produced, and it's a shame. I would have loved to see this parody, but you know, we actually did got it in Turbo, so I guess we kinda got it. It's not the same. Now, this last episode of Power Rangers is absolutely crazy and would have changed the complete history of the franchise. This is Protecting Pink, an episode written for Power Rangers Lost Galaxy that never actually made it past the writing stage. It was originally going to be episode 32 of the season, but was later tweaked into the episode Protect the Quasar Saber. And in this episode, Cassie from Power Rangers in Space, the Pink Ranger from that season, would join this team of Rangers as the new Pink Galaxy Ranger. She would join up as a space cadet and join the Galaxy Rangers as they stop a bomb plot against Terra Venture. So this episode would have been absolutely crazy. She would have her own uniform and everything. She would have been the new Ranger of the team. If you don't know, the last Pink Galaxy Ranger actually got destroyed in the show, so they needed a new Pink Ranger, and who better than the Pink Ranger they just teamed up with, Cassie. She would have her own GSA cadet uniform, and Maya the Yellow Ranger would be a bit cold to her. As you know, being the new Pink Ranger, her friend just got destroyed. She basically appreciates her being there, but she really doesn't want to be a friend so quickly. Understandable, I can see her point of view. But guess what? Trakina, Deviant, Kegler, and some Sting Wingers and a new monster called Buzz would break into the ship and kidnap Alpha, hijack Deca, and try to steal the megaship. And can you guess who's there to save it? That's right, Cassie, our new Pink Ranger. She would go save Maya, who was also on the ship, and try to save it from the villains as they use the megaship to destroy a colony. Obviously, they would later regain control of the megaship, but they would later be caught by the villains, so they would have to escape. They would later reunite with the other Lost Galaxy Rangers, and manage to morph up and destroy Buzz as a team. And in the end, Maya and Cassie just can't help being the best of friends. So why didn't we get this story of Cassie coming back as the Pink Galaxy Ranger? And because, you know, she was in space and she was here, she was just in a team up, would have been so cool. Because as you know, what we ultimately got was a storyline that included Corone / Astronomer, which in my opinion is probably a much better storyline. An old villain coming back, redeeming himself as a Power Ranger. Love that. The actress who played Cassie, Patricia J. Lee, decided to quit the show. And this caused a mess in the writer's room because they had this whole show, like, you know, ready. It was gonna be ready. She was gonna be the new Pink Ranger and everything, but she was like, nope, I'm out. She probably had her own reasons though. There were already episodes shot with the storyline in mind, so they had to reshoot parts of the Power in Pink and eventually bought on Melody Perkins' Corone to be the new Galaxy Pink Ranger, basically avoiding this whole friendship thing and turning it back into protecting the Quasar Saber. Imagine though, Cassie, an old Pink Ranger, coming back to play a new Pink Ranger. We obviously saw it in the early Mighty Morphin seasons, but you know, this would have been cool because, you know, Lost Galaxy was supposed to be kind of separate from In Space in a way, but having an In Space Ranger come back and be a new Ranger would have connected things a lot more. And it would have extended the reach and the timeline of the Power Rangers in so many different seasons, just connect things a lot more easier. But Corone was obviously just the better choice. I'm glad they stuck with that. Regardless, what do you think? Which one of these episodes deserve to be made? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys for the next video. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, TheDonFuego. I'm also on Instagram, NotDonFuego. I love the E-Squad so much. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're at. And of course, and as always, stay awesome, everybody.